Welcome back, YouTubers. Mike B here. A couple months ago, Dakota and I made a little mini-series, I like to call it, and it's 2 videos, of the prices of military surplus firearms as of like June or July. So now I'm going to do the same thing, except with bayonets, because I totally didn't even think about that. So we're going to start, I'm going to try to go somewhat in order, oldest to newest. Again, just like the rifles and stuff, these prices are guidelines, they're not solid. They're based on average condition ones, and average condition means like usable. They might have some wear on them, but they're not like totally trashed, but they're not pristine either. I mean, unless otherwise noted on a couple bayonets that I have that are really nice. I'll tell you both prices. But yeah, so use this as kind of a guideline. Don't say, well, Mike B said it was this worth this much, so it is. So obviously a lot of factors, markings, condition, etc., etc. So I'll go through and I'll try to be as comprehensive and brief as I can. So we'll start out here with the question that I was asked on the channel a few days ago, and I usually don't do appraisals, so because I'd be spending all my time doing it, so hopefully I can just make a video like this and it'll help some of you figure out what you got and how much it's worth. So we'll start with the French Rosalie bayonet with the quillion, and then we'll also put the one without the quillion on here, right? So these are the cruciform, full length, not cut down bayonets with the scabbard. So these are worth about $120, okay? And the one with the quillion's probably worth about $130 to $135. It's not really that much of a difference. Most of these have it cut off. It doesn't matter. There's still a lot with these on there. Brass handle, aluminum handle, doesn't matter. They're worth about $125, $120 to $125 in good condition. They're getting more rare. A lot of them are cut down and broken, so that's where I get the price from. I'm kind of taking the highest price that I've seen these things going for online, and the lowest price, combining that to give you a pretty decent average on what your bayonet might be worth or what you should pay for one. So here we got the French Rosalie bayonets, and we'll move on. Next up, we've got the Argentine Model 1891 Mauser bayonet. These were made in Germany for the Argentine military, but they're still really cool, and call it an Argentine bayonet. So these, with a really good condition, which most of them are in, and a scabbard and the frog, which are really hard to find in good condition, because I mean this is from 1891, you're looking at about $125 here for an Argentine Mauser sword bayonet. So they're not exactly rare, but they're not super common either. They're getting harder to find. It's one of my favorite designs. It just looks awesome. It's like a short sword. So yeah, you're looking at about $125 for an 1891 Argentine Mauser bayonet. So here we've got a Steiger M95 bayonet. This is the short ones that they use in the First World War and stuff. So these are going for about $80. And the way you can tell these apart from like a Turkish Mauser bayonet is they're shorter than a VZ24 bayonet, but the blade's facing up on them. So it's pretty interesting that that's like that, but that's how you can tell. So yeah, a Steiger M95 bayonet is going for about $80 right now. Swedish Model 1896 rifle bayonet. So just a nice little simple bayonet. It's one of my favorite designs because it's a great little fighting knife. These are going for about $50 with the scabbard and the frog and everything. So $50 for the Swedish M96 bayonet, scabbard, and frog. Here we've got one that's pretty infamous, the German Gewehr 98 bayonet. This isn't the butcher blade, this is the skinnier one, the longer one. These are actually rather hard to find because a lot of them were cut down, made into fighting knives, or sorry about that, simply not used during the First World War, and they got lost or sold to other countries. So this one is in pretty good shape, and you can see the leather scabbard still intact, which is pretty hard to find too. So you're looking at about $175 for one of these. I would say $200, but realistically, some of these are pretty crappy, so they're going for a little bit less. So that's why I kind of take the average. But an average condition one is you're looking at about $175 for this. More realistically, $200 if you're buying. Not a bad price for one of these because they're pretty hard to find. So yeah, the Gewehr 98 for, I don't know, why don't we just meet in the middle and say $190. Now we've got the Gewehr 9805 with a steel scabbard. So with your average makers, like this is Fichtel and Zach from Schweinfurt, Sims and Sewell, pretty common markings like that, and a steel scabbard, wartime. You're looking at also about $150 to $175, but for this we'll say $150 because they're more commonly found, because I think the blade's held up a little better just because of the design. So we'll say $150 for the S9805 World War I German butcher blade bayonet. Obviously better condition ones will yield more, and worse condition ones you can probably get for cheaper, or if you don't have the scabbard. The other scabbards are a whole other factor that I don't even want to talk about on this video, so we're just going to skip that. They're really hard to find, and you probably won't see one. If you do, they're worth probably about $80 to $100 just for the scabbard alone if it's still in good condition and leather. But this is what you're going to find most of the time, so $150. Up next, we've got the British Pattern 1907 bayonet for the short magazine Lee Enfield No. 1 Mark III. So these are pretty common and readily available, although Battlefield 1, just like everything else, the prices went up a little bit. But you can still get one of these on average for about $115 for the a decent condition one, which this is like just below decent condition. It's got some scuffs on the blade and stuff. It's pretty well used and everything. So a little bit better condition than this. You're looking at about $110, $115. Yeah, so if it comes with the scabbard, that's good. Better condition ones will sell for more. I've seen upwards of $150 for a nice condition one. But yeah, about $115 value for the British Pattern 1907 bayonet. Here's a fun one. We've got the Swiss Model 1918 bayonet for the K31 rifle. It's also for the K11. That's what they used it on beforehand. So these have really skyrocketed in the past couple of years. These are one of the ones that I've noticed have increased the most in value. So it's hard to find one with the frog. You usually have to buy the frog separate, but if you can find one and get the frog and everything, just the bayonet and the scabbard alone are worth about $85. Okay, so you're going to $85 for a nice condition one. This is made by Waffenfabrik Neuhausen. Elsener Schweiz made it. There's really no price difference on the manufacturers. There's, from what I know, only about 2 of them, or not about, but only 2 of them. So yeah, you're not looking at a major price difference. Conditions are all going to vary, but like this scabbard's got a little bit of rust on it, but the bayonet's beautiful. So about $85 with the frog and everything. You're looking more like $100. So just $100 even with this setup right here, but just the bayonet and scabbards, you're looking at about $85. So there we go. Here we've got the Yugoslavian Model 1924-30 bayonet. The sword bayonet's long to 24-30 because of the little step right there in the metal. The regular 24 bayonets just had a straight, shank, and they just added that for some extra strength in 1930. Same bayonet otherwise, fits the same thing. So this is, good condition like this. This is really good condition, but average condition, a little bit more worn and whatever. Preferably matching numbers, but just take away about 10% of the value from non-matching numbers. You're looking at about an even $100 for one of these. They're highly desirable, they're really hard to find, and they fit on just about every 98 style locking bar bayonet lug out there. So yeah, you've got the Yugoslavian Model 1924 and 24-30 bayonets, sword bayonets, at $100. Next up on our list is a pretty common one, but still makes the price list. You got the Soviet Model 1891-30 socket bayonet. So these are usually going to be in the refurbished condition like this. They got the dip bluing going on, and they're in pretty good shape. The springs work and everything. So these are still fairly affordable at about $20 for a bayonet. If you're paying any more for that, it's probably getting into the area where you're maybe not getting a good deal. These go from anywhere from $10 to $20. So, and I'll just say 20 on the high end. You can grab it. There's still plenty of these available. So, yeah, there we go with the Soviet Model 1891-30. The German S8498, the World War II K98 bayonet, right? In average condition, this is in a little bit better condition than that because it's still got a lot of the bluing and the bakelite grips are nice. But in average, more used condition, you're looking at about $95 for one of these. In better condition, you're looking at about $120. And then in bad condition, I don't really know how to price those because they're all over the place. But yeah, with the bayonet and scabbard, obviously if you have the frog, you're looking at about $130 to $140 for a complete set. And if they're all matching and everything, that's even more. But yeah, on average, we'll just say $100 for everything all said and done. We'll say $100 is the average for the S8498. So there you go. Any sort of British or Australian, specifically L1A1 bayonet, any variant. Some are worth more than others, but like this is the L1A2, I think, variant for the L1A1 or FAL, the inch pattern FAL. These are all over the place, but specifically I've noticed when they've got a metal scabbard and they've got like this and they've got the frog, they're going for about $75. I know that's a pretty steep increase from what they used to be going for, but they're just kind of getting more hard to find and everything. So again, these won't work on metric FALs. These are for the inch pattern with a really long flash hider and the bayonet lug. And Australia, I think this is an Australian bayonet. I'd have to look closer and make another video on it. But yeah, these are going for about $75 complete like this. So the British, I forgot what nomenclature this is, but the spike bayonet for the Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark 1. These are going for, without the scabbard and everything, about $10 a piece now. They're still relatively cheap, and there's a ton of them out there. So you're looking at about $10 for this. You're looking at about $20 to $25 with the scabbard and frog for the Lee Enfield World War II spike bayonet. Alright, for a Turkish Model 1938 series rifle bayonet, I forgot the nomenclature on that too, but they fit on the Model 38 Turkish Mausers. This one's in really good, like almost exceptional shape for a Turkish Mauser bayonet. So this doesn't really represent it, but I can't find my other average looking ones. Perhaps I could, but we'll see. Anyways, these are going for about $40 to $45 in averagely good condition. That's up from about $25 a couple years ago. So yeah, $45. This would probably bring a premium because it's just fantastic in great shape. It's the one I'm keeping, so it's not for sale. But I'd estimate this one at about $70, just because it's in such good shape and they're really hard to find like this. Most of them have been beat to crap and they're used, but they're still usable totally. But they're just not as pretty as this one. So yeah, $45 for the Turkish Model 1938 bayonet. Here's a Yugoslavian M48 Mauser bayonet. And these have been kind of creeping up too. There used to be a lot of them floating around. Now you don't see them as often. These are going for about $45 as well. Some $50. It's pretty insane how dried up these are becoming. I've seen them going for much more than that, $65, $70 and complete like this. And this is an all-matching bayonet and scabbard. So yeah, they're all over the place. We'll just say $45 on par with the Turkish Mauser bayonets. So that's what you got there for that one. Here's a Chilean Model 1895 bayonet that was made in Germany. These are going for $45 as well. It's kind of in the same price range as the Turkish Mauser bayonets and pretty much all the shorter model bayonets that you can find that are really common. It's about $45 for a Chilean M95 bayonet. This is a Vietnam era M4 bayonet for the M1 carbine. It's not an M8 for the M16. These are actually quite expensive now. These are going for about $60, probably $70 to $80 with the scabbard. So $60 for one of these M4 bayonets. That's what I've been seeing. You may disagree with that, but for whatever reason, people want these and they're super expensive. Spanish Setme Model 58 bayonets. So these are kind of the bolo blade ones, not the later Setme L ones. These, I used to be able to get these for really cheap, just like everything else, and now these are going on $40 for a Setme bayonet. $38 is like the average, and then I see some nicer ones being sold for more. So all that averages down to about an even $40 amount. That's with the scabbard and everything in good condition like this. So they're great little fighting knives. That's a little side note caveat. But yeah, $40 for the Setme M bayonet. Okay, here's where we get into AK bayonets. It gets a little bit dicey, but we'll try and just use the bare minimum. So Polish Type 1 bayonets like this with the old school handle. I kept this one because I love the orange bakelite on there. It's just beautiful. And you can just tell the Polish ones from the Soviet and Romanian ones and pretty much everything but the Chinese ones because they don't have serration right there. Everything's the same except that it's no serrated edge. So these Type 1s are getting pretty hard to find. This one's matching to the scabbard. There's no restamps or anything. It's beautiful. It's in great shape. These are going to be worth about $60 in good shape like this. A little bit less good shape, they're worth about $45 to $50. So we'll say it's $47 for an average condition one. But yeah, something like this would bring about $60 for a Polish Type 1 bayonet in good shape, matching and everything. For a Polish Type 2 bayonet, with most of them have the orange bakelite handles, matching or non-matching. Matching is going to bring about a $10 premium. These are going for about $38 now. So not quite $40, not hitting $30 anymore. These are still a little harder to find because of the lack of serration. These and Chinese ones are the only variants, to my knowledge, that had no serration up here on the top of the blade, but everything else is the same. So yeah, these are, we'll say $38. So there you go for the Polish Type 2 AKM bayonet. Alright, finally, we've got the US M9 bayonet. Different variants will go for different amounts. The blued ones are going for about $90, and the Frobus ones that are kind of this steel color, this natural steel color, are going for about $110 on average for one of these bayonets in good condition with a scabbard and everything. So there you have that. So there you have it, YouTubers. This is just a guide again. These aren't set in stone. This is from my observations as of September of 2017. So just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Now you have probably a better idea of what your bayonet's worth than you did before you watched the video. So this is all I have for now. Perhaps I'll do a part 2 if I end up expanding the collection, but it's not going to be for a while. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. If you're new to the channel, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, that'd be great. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate it. That's really cool. And you guys rock for watching my videos all the time. And yeah, I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.